we'll get to it now. In the new collective bargaining agreement, they put in a new clause or rule that to be eligible, and it starts next year, for postseason awards, all NBA, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, so on and so forth, a player has to play 65 games at minimum. And Draymond Green addressed it. Do we have sound, or are you just going to read his quote, Rob G? Okay, here's Draymond addressing it.
65 minimum games for awards. I can appreciate this, and everyone will appreciate this until you got bums on the All-NBA team and winning awards because someone didn't qualify because they missed 10 games at some point of the season with an ankle injury. All of a sudden, you don't have any of those guys on All-NBA teams, and then what NBA are we representing? When you look back in history and you got a bum on the All-NBA second team or All-NBA first team because guys miss some games, it won't be so appreciated then, and everybody will be complaining now. And you know who else will be complaining? I think owners are going to end up complaining when they find a bum that they have to give an extension to that made the All-NBA team, and now they come in there asking you for max and super max and blah, blah, blah because they made the NBA team because guys weren't allowed that played 63 games. Then we'll get to complaining. Because you're going to have a guy making $200 million that produces at an $80 million level because they made the All-NBA team. Why? Because Steph Curry missed some games. He got injured once, then got injured again, and missed significant amount of games in both of those injuries this year and doesn't qualify for all first team All-NBA or second team or third team, and y'all paying them bum salaries. There's always another side to it.
I just want to quick before you go, Rob. I'm just gonna be quick. It's interesting to me that he's calling players bums.
I'm with you 100%. And here's the other thing. I mean, you couldn't have a more simplistic example that because some guy, like, first of all, that they're bums in the NBA. Number
That's
two,
a shot. If a reporter said that, he'd
right,
be killing.
It would be fighting. But what bums make it to the NBA? There are only 400 jobs.
Right.
And
Rob, even if you go with his logic of, some of the top players won't be able to make it. Anybody that makes all NBA, they still gonna be like an all-star.
Thank you. It's not going to be some guy
making all NBA
who would go from an $80 million contract to $200 million. Like, what logic is that, Chris? Really? Like, the owner's going to be hoodwinked that some guy stumbled into a good season because somebody else wasn't there, and then I'm going to pay him $200 million.
And we vote for the All NBA. So again. It's not going to be just average or, as to use Cam Newton's term, randoms making the All-NBA. Even if you take, like, Kyrie wouldn't be able to make it this year. I don't know if he'd make it anyway. Right. But let's say Kyrie, Steph, I don't think has played enough games. Damian Lillard hasn't played enough games. But still, the guys, I get it. I get to a degree what he's saying, Rob. You will have some players that
I don't get the term of bums
but they're not gonna
and
be,
all
no,
that.
The bums
I think
far.
That's an extreme take that they're bums in the NBA.
I agree with that. I'm just saying guys that aren't all NBA caliber. But I agree with you. I just find it interesting that he's actually using the term bums. Isn't this what they get mad at Charles Barkley for?
Yep.
The players?
That's what they claim. Like calling people names and all that, but I guess for some people, the new media, you could call people bums and say whatever you want. It's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. But again, when you don't have anybody there, Chris, to push back, this is what you get. Where's the pushback?
He's making this. He's on this podcast, I'm sure, but I just you can't get, and you would say, I guess. Well, you media guys never played in the NBA, but still,
please, though. But they don't want to hear from Kenny Smith or Shaq or
they
Charles
don't want them
either.
To call them bums
and they played in the NBA, but they don't want to hear from them
at the highest level.
They're old, jealous men, right? That's what they say when they criticize them.
I'm shocked again, Rob. I'm stunned he used that language. I wouldn't be stunned I get how guys talk, but for him to refer to other players that way, that's surprising. That's surprising. Because when Andrew Wiggins made the All-Star team, as good as Wiggins is, people were like, come on. They essentially were saying that about Wiggins. Like, he shouldn't have made the All-Star team. They were essentially calling him that name. And I'm sure Draymond would have been against that and defending his guy. But let me ask you this, Rob. Do you think, look, I still think that your idea is one of the best I've heard. That if you miss a game, you got to miss 3. The next 3 and total of 4.
Because that would change everything. You don't need to do this because I think you would have to be honest with yourself that if LeBron and them miss
really
tonight,
not hurt,
if they miss tonight, they can't play the rest of the season.
Right.
Really?
Right. Absolutely. We wouldn't even be having this discussion.
They would be suited up, and there's no debate because we can't afford them to miss the last 2.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I don't think that's hard. You still pay them. So the union can't argue, Chris, that you're still getting paid, but we're going to give you 4 games to get healthy.
Yep.
If you're hurt,
because if
and
you're
you
really
can't
hurt,
play,
that's reasonable.
That gives you.
If you're really hurt, I need the 4 at least.
Exactly, to get back and be right. So we're trying to help you, and if you do that 3 times a year, Chris, where you take a game and you have to miss 4 total, that's 12 games.
That's 12 games.
If you miss 4 games, that's 16 games.
Yep.
I don't know way you're doing that.
Go for it. I don't think the players would go for it, but I love it.
Wouldn't. No.
But this idea, Rob, I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate it. I mean, there's no outside of, I think, like I said, your suggestion. There's nothing perfect. And I do think that, look, I'm glad it's not this year because Steph's. I'm gonna sit down Saturday and really just dig in and do all my awards. But right now, I'm thinking Steph's he's gonna be all NBA. The dude's been phenomenal. I know he's not gonna play 65 games, but still. But I think, Rob, look, I think guys are competitive. Some people, you might say this. Some people might say they don't care about these postseason awards. I think they do. You played Little League, Rob. I want to make the All-Star team every year.
Everybody, if you're a kid playing, you want to be on the All-Star team.
And I think, I think that spills over to adults. I get that they're making hundreds of millions of dollars now, but you still are competitive. You still want all the accolades you can get, especially when you're that level of player. So I do think, Rob, if you got some competitiveness in your body, you're going to want to play this requisite 65 games so you can be an MVP. I know only a few players are even in that discussion, but all NBA, defensive player of the year, whatever it might be. I just think guys those awards I think are important to guys. Yeah.
My only issue is that when you put that rule up, Chris, there aren't that many guys who are really up for MVP. Right.
But it's the other awards too.
But I'm just saying.
But you're right.
There's it's a limited, and I hear you, but it's mostly a limited group of people, and it's more about stars playing in big games. But those are a lot of the guys sitting out. Let's keep it real. Yeah.
The randoms, they're not the ones sitting out. Generally,
they're trying to get a contract and trying to
right. We're not talking about
pay.
Austin. Austin Reeves isn't I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go tonight. It's AD and LeBron. It's Kawhi. It's Luka. I mean, I'm just throwing. It's the stars. It is the guys in the MVP conversation that are the ones load managing. Because let's be honest, nobody really cares. I don't want to be rude to them, but nobody cares if Jared Vanderbilt load manages. They care if
because they didn't buy tickets to see Jared Vanderbilt. That's the reality of it. And I know I got friends tonight going down, and they're all on pins and needles.
Oh, right.
They are. They're they got tickets. They want to go to the game. They're looking forward to it, and they're like, dude, I don't know if they're playing or not.
Yeah, I like it then. So I look, it's a good try. I don't think it's the 100% perfect, but I like this attempt to get players to stop load managing so much.